Good morning. My name is Karen Kong and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, and welcome to my new series for, is it May? It's May. For the month of May, it's the Cutest Crew series for my Crafting to Go kits. So here's the card we are making today. The Cutest Crew is such a cute little set with, I'll show you, the cats and dogs and birds, and this week we're working with the birds. And if you are joining me for the first time, I have been having a Crafting to Go series every month for this year so far. We are not, I haven't planned the next few months yet, but so far it's been almost every month since the beginning of the year. And what I do is I put together 4 cards for each month, and at the end of the month, I send those out, the pre-cut pieces for each card, so that you can make them too if you make a qualifying order in the time period for this kit. So for this month, it's the Cutest Crew, and we are starting with card number 1. I'm just going to get my computer set up so I can see your comments while we are crafting, and I really hope that it's working today, because in the past few weeks Facebook has been acting up and I haven't been able to see live comments. Like one week I had no comments, and another week I had good morning comments, like just greetings, and then after that they all stopped. So right now I don't even see anybody joining me live yet, but hopefully people will be joining in soon. My friends will keep me company, because it is more fun to craft together than to just craft by myself. I like having people to talk to, and if you ask questions, then we can chat about anything that you have questions about. So let me just switch over to my desktop so that you can see what we're making today. So I just have to remount my camera, and just close your eyes until the camera is remounted, okay? Here we go. All right, so we have several new things. Oh, there's a little bit of noise from outside. The street cleaning crew is coming by my house, and they've been passing by a few times, so I hope my streets are going to be nice and clean for walking, for evening walks soon, and they'll be done cleaning soon, hopefully. All right. Okay, so yeah, so if you're live with me, please say hi in the comments, and I really hope that I can see them. You know what? I'm not seeing any comments just yet. I can see one person who's with me, but so what I'm going to do is I am actually going to try something. I'm a little bit scared to try it. I'm thinking I should refresh my camera, not my camera, my computer page, and let's see if that works. Okay, I see Sandra's comments. Let's see if it can it will keep up or not. Let's see. Okay, so all right, I'm gonna go ahead and start. Sandra, I hope that you can still comment after I have refreshed my page, now that I can see you. Okay, so this is my card for this week. I picked a color palette that I've been wanting to work with for ages. It is Misty Moonlight, Night of Navy, Pumpkin Pie, and Crushed Curry. Okay, so if you haven't joined me before, and if you want to create these cards on your own afterwards, I do always post the measurements and the colors and products in my video description later, so check back for that. And if not, if you're wanting to receive the kit with all the card pieces afterwards, I provide everything that you need pre-cut. The only thing I don't provide are the stamped images, so you'll need the stamp set to complete it, and then away you go. So let's make some room, and I have all my pieces cut, and I do have a couple of things to do. So I would pre-cut like the the birds for you, and you could stamp the pre-cut piece. And let me see. Oh, I wanted to show you. I just received the new basic black hybrid ink, which is supposedly better for watercoloring with, and that is what we are doing. We're going to do some watercoloring to create the background and watercoloring to fill in the birds, because I don't have crushed curry paper, but I do have ink, and I decided I would use it for watercoloring. Okay, so I'm just going to move things aside to make some room, and I'm going to open up this new stamp pad. Oh, I'm not seeing any comments. Let me try refreshing again, since that seemed to work. Just trying to... Oh, there we go. Okay, so when I refresh my screen on my computer, I can see that the comments are updated. However, I don't know if they're going to update real time for me, so I may have to keep refreshing it. Okay, so let's open this up. This is I saved the opening for my live because I wanted to share the excitement with you, because this is supposed to be better for watercoloring and not smudging. So I didn't have a huge amount of problem with the original ink pad. Let me show you. You know, the black Memento ink. So you'll see that I do avoid, like when I colored this in, I used the black Memento ink, and I tried to avoid coloring the edges, like the stamped images, too much. I just tried to stay in the middle, but I did have a little bit of bleeding here. I don't know if you can see that. It's not critical, but it did bleed a little bit. So we'll see how this performs today. So I'm going to do the stamping first so that I can leave time for it to dry before I actually color it. Okay, so good morning, Shali and Sandra. I am just refreshing my page as I go to try and keep up with the comments and see if people are chatting with me. It doesn't seem to be updating in real time, unfortunately, so I will be a bit behind. Okay, so here's all my pieces, and I will tie the ribbon real time as well. Okay, so here's the watercolor paper I'm using. I'm going to open that up. I have my birds here for stamping. And let's open this up. So this is magnetic. So it's supposed to be easier to open if you have trouble with the old ink pads. But this one seems to be stuck. Maybe it's the first time I'm opening it. I don't know if it's like... Oh, I can hear. Did you hear that? I just stuck my finger between the two. There we go. And I heard like this like sound of air escaping. So it's like almost like it's sealed the first time you open it. Like just the edges are just kind of stuck shut. Okay, so now it's open. Okay, so let me try this again. Okay, that was a little better. All right, so now that it's open. Oh, you know what? I had assumed that this was, oh, something just fell out. This was cracked. Interesting. Okay. Okay, so I had assumed that the new black ink pad was magnetized, just like the new in color ink pads, and I don't think it is. This lid is not magnetized, and it does not sit together the way I see that the in color ink pads sit. So I don't know if you guys realize that, or is it just me? Because I had expected this to be magnetized. I thought it was, but it is not. Okay, so that's interesting to know. I'm just going to pick out, like, I think these are little fragments of the plastic that broke off of my case. That is really weird that it cracked right away. I may inquire to see if that might cause problems with the ink pad drying out. It's not a huge crack in the case, but I'm a little concerned that it might dry out faster. Okay, well, like I said, this is like reality crafting, guys. And for those of you watching on replay, you can always fast forward through these, but those of you watching live can live through these with me. Okay, so let's stamp. Yeah, okay, so I can see Sandra also thought it was magnetized, and it is not. I'm very surprised. Okay, so like I said, real-time reactions. Okay, so let's ink this up. So the ink pad is firm, just like the Memento ink pad was. So it's very similar that way. All right, so I'm just tapping it all the way around and making sure that my birds are firmly inked, fully inked, and we will stamp this. Okay, that didn't come out quite as dark as I would have liked on that one side. Maybe I didn't press hard enough. Let's try on the back. Okay, it looks fully inked. Maybe I just didn't press. So I just press, I don't press too hard. It's not like I don't want the rubber to spread and get thick looking lines. So, okay, that looks better. All right, so let's cover this up. And I'm just going to clean this off. And I'm just wondering if this will stain my my stamp more than the regular Memento ink, but let's see. No, I think that's about the same. I don't think, because the Stays On ink pad would definitely stain much more. So this is more like the Memento. Yeah, I think Shali's also agreeing with me. I think I'm going to contact Stampin' Up! About getting... Oh no, you know what? The crack is on the inside. See this little piece here? I don't see this on the outside. I think it's on the inside. Yeah, it's right there. It probably won't dry out because it's sealed all the way around. Okay, we'll see. All right, so let's set that aside, and let's put together the background for this little scene here. So when I originally made this card, I thought it just looked so plain, and I really wanted something else in the background. So what I decided to do is I took my water painter. So if you don't have one of these, they're not expensive. They just provide like some kind of contrast in the background. So I'm just going to take some Misty Moonlight. And actually, so you can do this in two ways. I have been always, what I usually do is create a little ink spot in the cover. And you do that just by pressing the center of the ink pad together, and you get this blot of ink here. This other way I just saw demonstrated by somebody else was to actually just take your water painter and touch it to the ink pad itself. So I'm tempted to try that. I will try that with the yellow, but for this one I need like a bigger swath of ink. So I'm going to take it from the ink blot there, okay? And I am going to get I just have a paper towel here to wipe off any excess and to clean my my brush after the fact. So I'm just going to take it, I'm going to take the side, and I'm just going to pick up like a bunch of ink here. Okay, I'm just going to drop a little bit off there, and I'm going to apply it to my background in large strokes, okay? And I'm just going to create like, it's kind of like a focal point in the background for this bird, okay? So hopefully there's not too much water. If there's too much water, it'll be too wet and not spread the ink properly. So let's go. Oh, this is going to work well. Okay, so I'm going to pick up some more. I can see it's fading. And I'm just going to brush it on lightly and create a base for my birds. I'm just going to turn it around. And if you find there's too much water, you can try just blotting it like this. See, that takes it away, right? So I'm just going to add it back again. I wanted a more even edge on my bottom, so that's why I flipped it around. Okay, and then when you're done with your water painter, you just squeeze a little bit of the water out and brush it off on here. It is so easy to clean and it's so easy to maintain. Okay, so let's see. I think that's probably going to be big enough for my background. I might want to add a little bit more here actually, because I think it's not quite enough, far enough over. Okay. So I'm just going to add a little bit more on this side, blend it in. All right, so we need to let that dry as well. Okay, so I'm not crazy about how that turned out, but you know what? It's going to be covered up here anyways. And if you're playing around with the watercolors, you can just flip it over and try again on the other side if you're not happy with it. But like I said, this is going to get covered up, so I'm not too concerned. I just wanted some more color along the edge there. Okay, so let's set this aside as well. We'll let it dry. And I need to do some stamping here. So one of the stamps in this set are the little bird feet. So you can make little bird prints. And I'm just going to get the strip here. Okay, so if you notice, the strips here, I have not flagged the end. I wanted to show you how to do that. So on my strips here, I flagged the ends, and it's really easy to do with a pair of scissors. They do have punches for that sort of thing too, but you can just do it manually if you don't have them. Okay, so I'm just going to add little bird prints along the bottom here, so that it kind of looks like my little bird friend is looking at those prints. Okay, so I'm just going to add a few of these right along the bottom. I think they're really cute. Okay, so that's all I need. And let's flag these pieces. So all you're going to need to do is just cut a little bit right in the middle. Okay, you're just going to cut a couple millimeters right in the middle. Okay, and then you're going to cut from the corners to that cut, the top of that cut mark. Okay, so it's probably difficult to see on the camera, but I'm just lining it up. And then I do the same on the other corner, and it just falls off. Okay, and you do the same thing on this one. And I try to get it about the same so that they look similar. There we go. Did I get it? Just comparing to see if I got approximately the right angles. Yeah, that looks about the same. Okay, so a little bit more stamping. I'm going to get that little circle out. It's a night of navy, and I'm going to stamp happy birthday. We're going to do some embossing, and I need my Versamark. And we're going to stamp happy birthday and put some white embossing powder on that and heat emboss it. Okay. So let's tap this on. I'll put it right in the middle. let's grab my tweezers. Oops. These ones are not good for picking things up. Those are the ones I save for heat embossing. Okay, so I'm going to grab my brush because I always forget to use the embossing buddy. And I did actually use the embossing buddy on the first time I used this. I was so proud of myself. And of course I forgot to do it live. Okay, I think I might have brushed off a little bit of the embossing powder when I flipped it over by accident. So I'm just going to scoop up a little bit and recover it. That's good. All right, so let's brush off the excess. Oops. I don't know if there are any other allergy sufferers out there, but allergy season is getting into full swing now. For me at least. Yesterday I have been taking allergy medication. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. But sometimes it wears off, or maybe something else triggers something that's, oh gee, it really is a reality crafting day. I keep touching everything and brushing it off. But my throat was itching yesterday a lot, and my eyes have been suffering itchiness. So today I'm taking a different allergy pill, and it seems to be working well so far. Okay, I think that's the best I can do. I'm going to heat emboss this before I touch it again. So let's use my tweezers to hold this. And it's going to be noisy. I'm going to bring in my heat gun and my stash. And I like to let it heat up without blowing it at the paper first, because I don't want to burn the paper. It's possible to burn the paper. Aside, and I'm going to just clean up this embossing powder. I have the embossing tray, but I tend to always go old school. I don't know why, I just prefer this. Okay, I think the birds are ready to color. Let's try coloring this, and we'll bring in the crushed curry. So again, I'm not getting real-time commenting. I have to refresh my screen. Oh yeah, Sandra, I'm disappointed this is not magnetic either. I don't know why. I just thought that it was. Okay, so I have a fine tipped watercolor painter here, and what you want to do is when you pick up your color, you're going to want to start coloring wherever you want the color to be darkest, right? Because it's going to be the most intense when you first start coloring. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the underside of the birds, kind of to give it like to give them a little bit of shading. So I always start painting on the underside. Okay, so this time, instead of using the blot, I'm going to try what the other person did, and I'm just going to draw some from the edge of the ink pad. I'm going to draw some ink from there. It doesn't seem to be picking up very much, whereas when I do it from the ink blot, it's much more visible. So let's see how this works. It's definitely not as dark. let me try. I'm just going to pick it up from over here. So I guess if you want really light color, you could just draw it from the ink pad, but see, this is much darker when I take it from the ink blot that I created on my lid. So I'm not seeing too much bleeding yet, and hopefully I won't see much bleeding. Seems to be working well. I'm going to add a little bit darker yellow here. And let's do the same for these guys. So let's make it darker on his chest. And then we'll move into the other areas when the ink is lighter. I'd forgotten how much watercoloring is, how much fun watercoloring is. I haven't done it in a while. So let's put that here. Like I said, I'm working with the underside first to give it a darker shadow, I guess. And then we'll move into the other areas. There we are. They're all colored. All right. So I think I actually have pumpkin pie in the blends marker, and I'm going to use that instead. Because I don't have my pumpkin pie out, I don't think. No, I didn't bring that out. Okay, let me get the pumpkin pie blends marker. Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to use the fine tip for doing their beaks. Oh, I forgot to do that little guy's tail. His tail feathers are not yellow. I gotta go back and do that. I'm gonna color that a little bit more. So no bleeding this time. I think this new black is working well. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna need to die cut these guys. I'll bring in my little mini cut and emboss machine. And I have the die right here. Yeah, the coloring is fun actually. It's if you have the time to just enjoy it, I think it's fun to just play with it. And I forget to make time for that. But right now, you know, we're in the middle of dance competition season, and there is not a lot of time. So that's something I'll have to set aside time for during the summer, hopefully. And I always think the summer is going to be quieter, but it never is somehow, because when my daughter's home, she needs to go places, and we'll see. All right, let's push this through. Did I set this up right? There we go. And Shali says, enjoy fussy cutting too. Yes, that's something I have grown to love, and I can do in front of the TV usually if it's not a show that's like really intense on what you have to watch. But yeah, the coloring is fun. I actually enjoy that a lot. and I just don't have enough time for it. Okay, so this was pretty easy. Let's go to assembly now. Let's bring in the card base, and we'll give it a burnish with my bone folder. Okay, and let's bring in this piece, and we're just going to center it and glue it on. So I am trying not to put so many dimensionals on things, so if you wanted extra dimension, you could actually raise this up, but I am going to glue it down because I have found that the cards that have to be mailed, they don't allow really thick cards, so the Mother's Day card just barely fit into the slot, and I'm hoping they're not going to give me a hard time and send it back because it might get stuck. And I didn't put a lot of dimensionals on that card, if you remember, but there were a lot of layers because of the peony that was on the front. Okay. All right, so that's centered, and I'm just going to layer these across here. So like not quite halfway. Oh, I do want to make sure that this covers this area. So I'm going to maybe put this a little higher up. Yeah, like that. And that covers that. Okay. So let's do, it's always like a conundrum how to get a laid down piece down right, and once you put it down, and then be able to take it off, apply the adhesive, and put it back where you want it to go. So now I'm just going to use the grid markings on my grid paper to help me. So I had lined it up with that middle marking there. This goes right to the edge. There, so this should cover that up. Yeah. Okay, and then we'll layer this guy on top. I'm just going to refresh my screen and see if there's any questions. Oh, yes. So Sandra, I'm using watercolor paper. Because it just, when you're watercoloring, it just doesn't look the same on like a basic white. It doesn't absorb the same way. It's okay for, let's say you're splashing on, let's say you've stamped something, you want to add some splashed marks, that's usually okay, but for coloring and stuff, I like to use the actual watercolor paper. Okay. So I'm just going to line this up on the right, and a little bit down from the top. Okay, and let's see. So when I assembled this, I actually put these guys on first, and then I left, I only put dimensionals on the bottom edge, okay, so that I leave room to slide in my happy birthday. Okay, let me just double check that I have this. Okay, I want my happy birthday not to be covered up. Actually, maybe what I should do is I'll put the happy birthday on first, and then I'll adjust my birds. No, I have to put this a little farther up. Yeah, I think I have to put the birds on first so that I don't cover up my birthday sentiment. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put dimensionals, the little mini ones, just along the bottom of my bird so I can still slide stuff underneath it. And I'm pretty sure there's nothing behind him, so I can put one on the top here. And I have a little half piece here that I cut from earlier, so I'm just going to put him in the middle here. All right, so let's put this guy on. Okay, got all the backings off. And I'm going to position him over here. I still want to see my bird feet. Okay. And I'm going to attach this along the back. So what I'm going to do is going to take a piece of tear and tape, and we'll just stick it along the back of here, and we'll position our little orange bar across the back. If you have trouble lifting the backing off of the this tear and tape, it's because your adhesive isn't firmly stuck to the paper. So I just rub it with my fingernail and press down, and that makes it easier to lift. So I'm just going to turn this around and position it like this. Okay. And I will trim that after we've stuck this on. Okay, so I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this. Oh, Shali, you're going to try some watercoloring when you come over. You'll give it a shot because it's really easy. And it's a nice way to fill in other things like flowers that you want to add shading to. It's a really nice way to do it. Hi, Janet. Yes, I hope you'll watch the replay later. You can see how I created this card. Okay, so let's take the backing off these. I think I got all of them. Okay, so I'm going to put it on an angle so that it's because it's a fun card, and also because it makes it easier to see the whole word. So I'm just going to position it between these two birds. Oh, I'm having a little bit of trouble squeezing them in only because it's sticking a little bit. Okay, that's all right. There. Okay, and then just to trim that, I'm just going to turn it around, and we'll just take our scissors and trim that off. And we'll use the edge of the card to guide us. Okay, last thing is the bow. So I have some pumpkin pie string, and I like to tie it while it's still on the spool, because if I don't have enough length, then I can just undo it and redo it again, and I don't waste as much because I never know exactly how much to measure. So this is the way I do it. So I make 2 bunny ears and I wrap it into a knot. Oops. I'm just tightening it, and then I adjust the loops to the size that I want. I think that's pretty good. I'm going to shorten it a little bit. There we go. And then I'll just trim this. Okay, so I'm just going to apply a glue dot to the back. Because the knot is so small, I usually cut my glue dots in half. So this one's actually already been cut from making this card. So I'm just going to stick this guy on. And then we'll peel it off. just going to stick it in the corner here. And there we go. That is this week's card, the first card in my Cutest Crew series. I hope you like it. I aim to always try to use as many of the stamps and the dies in each bundle as I can, so I make full use of the bundle. Just gonna refresh so I can see your comments. Thank you, Janet. I hope you, this was an easy one to put together, and you can make it with whatever color combination of the DSP that you want. I just, I really like this color combination because I think it works for guys and gals. So you can give it to anybody, right? And yeah, you can customize it to whichever DSP you have. So fun, 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 super cute. And it was really easy. I mean, I was done even with all my talking in like 40 minutes, which is like a record time for me. So give it a try. Give it a try with watercoloring. It is really easy and it is fun. It's a great way to add depth and shading to your images, and for creating backgrounds when you don't have a DSP that works, because I didn't want anything else busier in the background, and I thought this worked out really well. So, hope you're inspired, and we will continue next week with card number 2. And I hope you have a great week, everybody. See you later.